Like Napoleon in a water park, so go the crazy adventures of Joe Skullion. Welcome back to Critical Depth, part 2 of Joe Scullion's playthrough. Last we left our intrepid dude venturer. He had just gotten through Venganza and was headed towards the Arctic, which, given the wetsuit he's wearing and not much else, I'm amazed he doesn't completely freeze himself into a Joe-sicle. But we are going to see exactly how well he survives this, as long as he survived everything else. Maybe he'll be okay. Maybe. One way to find out. Here we go with that voice again. Hey, bud. No freaking way. I can't even believe it. The pods are like from outer space. Dude, this is just too intense. I wonder if this has anything to do with the voices I heard back in that spooky temple. They're following me, dude. When I joined this little quest for the pods, I figured, hey, I'll dive into the ocean, bag a few pods, have a few thrills, and then go home. Yeah, he said he did hear voices in the Red Sea, where the alien statues were. What if those aliens return to Earth and demand their pods? That could bring me some serious sadness. They're probably those same horny mutant dudes from the Red Sea. Oh, great, now it's hentai. They look totally pissed, man. This whole Final Judgment thing has got me going all tweaky. I'm gonna get judged by some guy who thinks I'm a thief. Oh, screw it. I chose this path. Like my Zen master used to say, the arrow is loose and can't be recalled. Guess that means I gotta keep going. I just figure that if one of these alien dudes return, I'll just say, hey, nice horn, bud. I'm going spelunking, dude. More pods just materialized in some underwater caverns. Dive her down, dude. Later, Joe. I almost used Diver Down as my intro, thinking, Van Halen, and then I remembered he actually said that. Also, my bad, we're not heading to the Arctic yet. I forgot about the Indian Ocean. So Joe gets to warm up a little bit first. That's seriously the way that image looks like. It's like legs and the death sled, like no body, like that's his head or something. So this is an area where Joe actually has a pretty good advantage. Lots of narrow tunnels and lots of stalagmites and stalactites and rock formations in the middle of the areas mean plenty of places that he can dodge around anything coming at him. But again, Joe does have to be fairly proactive in the beginning in order to make sure he gets a hold of a pod and people don't get away from him. The thing is, while some subs can get away with holding on in the threshold room and just guarding it, Joe really can't back that up. So, once again, with Joe, as always, speed is the need. And being as slippery as possible is going to greatly help him. But yeah, any place Joe can use the terrain to his advantage is definitely something he wants to do, and this area is well suited for it. Sadly, this is going to be probably the last break that Joe is going to get in that regard. So enjoy it while it lasts, my man. Got the last pod, he just needs to get a bearing on him. I forget if I mentioned it before, but I swear every time Captain fired the cannonballs and then made that It almost sounded like he was passing the kidney stone. I just got rid of him here because I could. But yeah, this is one of the environments that that Joe is right at home in. Hey, bud. Dude, I'm going to the Great White North, the land of the mighty polar bear, the realm of the penguin, the Arctic man. Yeah. I'll probably freeze my butt off, but that doesn't matter. No way, dude. I must live in the moment and enjoy the taste of frozen snot on my upper lip. Upon my upper lip, sorry. That was more elegant than I gave him credit for. Dude, as soon as I bag that 5th pod, I'll be looking for a nice warm Eskimo babe for a little nose-rubbing action, if you know what I'm saying. Later, Joe. Joe might want to study up on your geography, but, on second thought, maybe not. I, don't want your brain to explode. Okay, so once again in Dr. A's base in the Arctic. And this is largely a very problematic area for Joe because you've got some of these nooks and crannies, but this isn't where the action is going to be, and if you spend all your time hiding there, you're going to get left behind. So Joe has to venture out into the open, which is not a great place for him. Also, there was I remember in the recording there was an incident that happened that produced a funny moment. Let me just see when it comes up. I think it might be fairly soon. Forgive me for not remembering exactly. Whoop, 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 whoop. Something important to note, by the way, about the Psycho Disc. If you'll notice the trajectory the subs take after they get hit by it, very often they end up veering away from Joe if they were on a direct course with him. That can be very important to keeping Joe out of harm's way. You don't necessarily want to rely on that, though. Much of what happens, as you can see, is that the subs will start rotating around, and they'll start navigating off of their path. So like I said, it can definitely help Joe and get him out of direct trouble. Like there, for example. The Soviets would have definitely hit him if not for that. But it's not necessarily something you want to rely on because it's not a given. Of course, presumably you also won't be putting in invincibility and infinite weapons codes and cheating your ass off like I am. Yeah, see, I admit I'm doing it, I'm not denying it. About 5 hits and Earth Hope was done there, so very powerful weapon. Okay, yeah, it's down to just myself and the French, so the moment's going to come up fairly soon when the French come after me. When we eventually find each other. It is so damned easy to get lost in this area. Because every chunk of ice looks exactly like another. Okay, that was it right there. Because the French were going for the La Brief super with the claw grab, and because that puts the French on a straight line towards their targets and kind of sucks them in. Hitting them with the Psycho Disc didn't send them on any different trajectory, it just spun them around as the super was going. So that was a funny moment, I think. Yeah, at least to me. And I found the exit relatively easily. Now, this area in here, the interior, if I can get there, the interior with that high tower, if you can get in between those sectional areas, Joe has a very good chance to dodge things in there. So that's not a bad place to make you stand from. But again, you got to be fairly aggressive in the start to get a pod to pull that off. Transmission received. Abaddon online. Premises. Indiscriminate breeding has disrupted humanity's proper evolutionary course. Eugenics programs result in genetically superior populations. Only perfect specimens are sufficient. Analyses. Current population of humans must be cleansed. Energy pods are sufficient to instigate cleansing. Evidence indicates that no genetically perfect human specimens exist. Conclusions. I must impede the pod collectors. I must retrieve the energy pods. I must instigate the universal cleansing process. I must destroy all humans. Initiating battle mode. I must play Destroy All Humans on the PlayStation 2. I probably should. That was a cool game, but I never got all the way through it. And Joe is starting off in a very bad place. But amazingly enough, not close enough to trigger the Stratocracker's lightning shots. We are going to have the occasional fireballs from it. Abaddon, because it can't take a whole lot of damage on its own, is not a big threat to Joe. And the Stratocracker will take a decent amount of damage from the Psycho Disc. That's because it moves at a pretty decent clip. It has a good chance of getting around the shields more often than not. Now, obviously, if I didn't have the infinite shields here, it would be a whole different story, and you can see Abaddon's going already. I am pretty sure in one of my later videos, though I do not recall which one, I conducted an experiment to see if you could destroy the Stratocracker without destroying Abaddon. And I think you could either destroy it first and then deal with Abaddon, or you could destroy it and Abaddon became a non-issue. I sadly don't remember which was the case, but I do remember doing that on one of my streams, which means it will eventually be coming up in one of the videos. If it turns out I'm wrong, then I got another thing for a bonus video, don't I? And now with Abaddon gone, I'm checking up here for a bonus area. I'm just trying to remember which grate I have to destroy to get there. One of these grates is destroyable. You can see power-ups in there. I don't know why I'm trying the walls. I know those aren't anything. It might have been the grate with the hole in the center. And then I'm trying the floor for that pit that I found earlier. Not a pit exactly, because, you know, it doesn't mean death going in there. It means actually the opposite, because it's got health. And I'm trying the walls here. I thought there was something in there, but maybe I was wrong. And that grate in the opposite direction, the one that had the square in the middle of it, that's the one I'm thinking might have been it. I honestly don't remember. there is a way to get up there by destroying one of the grates in order to get those power-ups. I know there's some piranha up there, and there's also some pilot missiles. I don't know why they gave you shakers here. They're not an ideal weapon for this area at all because nothing has pods. Also, you'll notice when you go into the battle with the Stratocracker, you do not have the benefit of the pods that you collected in the main area of the Arctic. Truth be told, I never thought to look and find out, but that's probably the case also with the battle against Mr. Fat and the battle at the end against the cephalopods. Let's go back and look. But, you know, why do that when I can spend my time fucking around for things I don't need? Yes. Pit with health. In contrast to all video game logic. And now at this point, I just like, okay, fine, let's actually deal with why we're here. The fact that the Psycho Disc, like all the other weapons, benefits from homing, makes it very, very useful, even more so than things like the Death's Head and the sickle that Mr. Grimm had. So Joe actually has some advantages over Grimm in that respect. Anyway, saved the entire Earth. Well done, dude. We owe this guy a debt of thanks. Oh, boy. Hey, bud. Wow, dude, the Arctic was totally foul. Soon as I nabbed the 5th pod, a robot thing came out of nowhere and tried to spear my melon. The battle was totally fierce, but hey, now I've got all the spare parts for the death sled that I could ever want. Ever the optimist. Oh yeah, I'm going south. Throw another shrimp on the Barbie. The land down under is calling my name. More pods have just materialized off the coast of Australia. Later, Joe. I remember he was talking about how he was throwing these messages in bottles to get to his friend. Well, I do hope that someone gets his. I do hope that someone gets his. I do hope that someone gets his thing that he sent. So the Coral Sea, yeah, this is not a good place for Joe at all. Thankfully, also, Joe has nothing to worry about with things like the sharks. I mean, they don't really attack anyone. The only animal undersea that attacks anyone is the eel in the Mediterranean. But, you know, that's an equal opportunity destroyer. You know, so you don't have, like, hammerheads trying to gnaw his legs off. Though that would explain why his leg fell off. Fell off? Yeah, that's right. Joe Skullion's actually a Build-A-Figure. You can remove his leg. But as I was saying, there's really no place in here that Joe is safe. You just have to dive into the fracas and hope for the best and switch pods when things get too hot. There's really no way to get anything off your tail when things lock onto you. You know, there's no pillars or anything to go around. The closest thing you've got are the support poles on those, what the hell they call them, pagodas? Those things. But the actual structure itself, as you can see, is totally useless because it will fold like an accordion the first time something hits it, and there's no way to actually get inside. You can potentially get on the opposite side of it, and that may save you once. But at any rate, yeah, there is a shark Joe has to worry about, and that would be Lockjaw. Not anymore. And Dr. Ray has the last pod, and he probably wants to have a word with Joe after what Joe just did in there. And Beach Dude. Believe it or not, that's actually a way to get yourself some respite if you really need it, because the other subs are not going to pull that off, at least not intentionally. And while they're up there, I don't believe they can fire at you or anything, so I think the only weapon that might be able to crest the surface is the pilot missile. I remember doing that once. But yeah, I mean, that is potentially a way to catch a break if you really need it. So, way to go, Joe. And now we've reached the point where I completely forget how to get to the next place. That's definitely not it. Okay, back in. Everybody back in the pool. If you get turned upside down like that, you can press the select button to right yourself. It is very possible to get yourself inverted, given the fact that you can move in 360 degrees and continuously move down or up to the point where you flip over. A lot of the times when you have to hit the button to realign yourself, it's because, oh, you saw some health up there, so there is something there. But a lot of the times when you have to do that, it's because you're facing against Joe, and you just got hit with the Psycho Disc. It does not return you to a default position after you're done whirling around all the time. So there are some occasions where you have to completely reorient yourself once the time comes. And that's a turtle. That is not Dr. Ray, that was a turtle. You'd think he'd be a little more kind to a fellow dude. I mean, you know, not only that, the freaking turtle's a ninja. Now see, that's the time when the shark will bother you if you attack it. But the shark doesn't really do anything to you. In fact, I don't think it does any damage. And I don't know at this point where in the hell Dr. Ray actually is. Oh, he's in the next pool. Okay, because I had forgotten at the time. And also I've forgotten now as I'm watching this back that there was another pool after the one with the threshold. And nice shot of Joe's grundle there. No, your other back. Yeah, just because Joe has a lot of speed doesn't mean he can make nice clean leaps over the lips of the pools, but there we go. Hey, bud, I've been down here beneath the sea, diving deep, bagging pods for a very long time now, and I've found myself becoming a little philosophical. For example, I've been thinking about this. If you fart in the ocean and nobody's around to smell it, is it really a fart? I want to make a joke about the bends, but it's not coming to me. I know what you're saying, that's just a bunch of Zen crap, but think about it, dude, I definitely think I'm onto something here. Later, Joe. Wow, one of the great minds of our time, yeah. Nietzsche, Sartre, Skullion. So, the Mediterranean. This is a mixed bag for Joe. Because there are a few places where he can use the terrain to his advantage and keep some things from smacking into him. But for the most part, what he's got to deal with is either open sea or parts of those same areas where he's vulnerable to attack from above. Like that temple, for example. You can use the columns and the freeze in order to let things hit the obstacles or the architecture, and therefore not hit him, but someone can very easily approach from above and then swoop down to hit him that way. So this is a place where you have to not become too complacent. And this is also a place where I just hit the edge. But this is also a place where critical depth will sneak up on you. Also, a little proof of concept from before. The pods will never go below critical depth. So if you're worried about them sinking down into a place where you are going to have to sacrifice health to get them because of critical depth, don't worry about that. It's not going to happen. They will literally hang on the top of where critical depth starts, so as long as you approach them on horizontal, you're good. Little audio thing there. I have no idea what happened with that. Then again, with all the audio issues that I had with Joe, the Soviets, and the next one coming up, I shouldn't be griping about a tiny little snippet of audio missing. Count your freaking blessings, like in through Keith. Say my whole name, say my whole name, say it. Sorry, I hope my soda isn't picking up too badly. I can only imagine what everybody else in this is thinking, like, why don't we have an invincible bubble too? You know, what does this dude know that we don't? Like this freaking beach blanket bimbo, you know, somehow has high technology. Oh, John went belly up. And I've already got his strongest weapon out, so let's see if we can have some Novocaine for the soul from the eel here. Maybe 4 hits. I couldn't tell if that other one actually landed. And thank you for bumping me into the threshold. Much obliged, comrades. Hey, bud, I'm arrived. Space Dude Town. I'm getting close to the end, man. I can feel it. I just hope it is not my end, if you know what I'm saying. I think the aliens brought me here because they want their pods back, dude. Let them try and nab them. Let them try to nab them back, and I'll go postal. I'm going to collect 5 more pods and then prepare myself for judgment time. Bring on the space hombres. I can handle them. They want their pods, and I want the ride of my life. I think we can come to some kind of deal or something. It's all about adventure, my man. Totally hardcore. I expect I'll be partying with some big-headed, horny aliens. Ooh. So don't wait up. Until then, dive her down. Later, maybe, Joe. P.S. If I don't come back, will you feed that shark I shanked? Thanks, bro. I still don't know what shanking a shark means. Maybe it just means grabbing, because, you know, obviously he didn't kill the shark or you wouldn't have to feed it. I don't know. I don't pretend to know the Tao of Joe. Yeah, I speak not bro. So the transmitter. Okay, so up here you've got some places that Joe can take advantage of with the pillars and the in the center and the pillars around the outside. Around the outside. Around the outside. The other place Joe really has an advantage is down in the tunnels. And one specific place in the tunnels. This was shown off in one of the other videos. I don't know if I show it off here, but as you can see, the only horizontal threshold there. But in one of the tunnels, there is a secret room when you destroy the wall that leads to, I think, some health ups and a health up and maybe a power up or two. The thing is, if Joe makes a stand from in there, the corridors getting towards it are fairly narrow, and with some careful use of the deflector / reflector, Joe can probably hold out pretty well down there, especially considering that the power-ups, including the health ups, will replenish after a bit. And I activated the threshold while I was in it. Cephalopod message intercepted. Ship's computer translation attempt follows. The klaxon has sounded. Alarum, alarum. Activated. The final threshold has been. The masters contacted will be. Prior to the summoning transmission, final test of metal must now occur. Assure the primacy of the callers. Guardians and sentinels defend. Automated warriors release. The klaxon has sounded. Alarum, alarum. Destroy the invaders. So says Grandmaster Yoda. Okay, so Joe versus the cephalopods, as opposed to Joe versus the volcano. Okay, as you can see, you do not have the advantage of the 5 pods in this battle. The cephalopods, like I mentioned before, are troublesome for anybody because they do have the deflector shields, and man, do they like to use them. But Joe is going to be hit by all sides here, so that strategy from before with the hidden room with the power-ups and the life-ups, this can be actually very useful against the cephalopods. I don't know exactly how often they will head down into the underground tunnels. Obviously they won't do it if you're not there, but any advantage you can get against these guys is definitely helpful. But fortunately the Psycho Disc will do a strong amount of damage to the cephalopods and knock them loopy, so that helps keep them from barraging you all that much. And way to go, bro. You're not going to get out now.
People of Earth, you have summoned us from across space and time, and we have heard your call. By activating our threshold devices, you have demonstrated that you possess a reasonable degree of intelligence, and thus have proven yourselves worthy of our presence. We have perceived your intentions and desires from across the void, and we shall reward you accordingly. Prepare for our arrival. You are our chosen one. Only you who wear the sacred tie-dye have passed our test. We have found our king and leader at last. The cosmos is yours to do with as you please.
Yep. Catching a cosmic curl. So, I just want to point out a couple of things. In the original stream, I remember when people heard about the sacred tie-dye, the general reaction was like, what? Like, you freaking kidding me? But yeah, there was that, and I also want to point out that as the leader of the aliens and the now the ruler of the cosmos, Joe could very easily destroy all of us, but he's just out for a good time. He's not that kind of guy. So all hail the intergalactic, not exactly Silver Surfer, more like Yellow and Black Surfer. So, at any rate, that brings to an end Joe's escapades in Critical Depth. One of the few times that the winner of the pod hunt actually turned out okay. Just you don't have like evil genie aliens, in my opinion. You have just very literalist aliens. But yeah, this time, the least likely. At any rate, I want to thank you all for joining me on this. We will have another episode coming in about a week's time with a new competitor, of course. Until then, be excellent to each other and never throw away those Grateful Dead t-shirts because the aliens could be coming any day. So take care, hang loose, until we game again. This episode's reading from the Book of Deuteronomy was made possible by Mike Panza, Rick in Baltimore, D.I.O.D., Gizmo Gremlin, Jumpy Cat, brand new to the Running with the Wolves tier, Shin Majin. Thank you very much and welcome aboard, and I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly. Please let me know if I'm not. The post-production work of Matthew Carr Anderson, and all my nautical, nebular, new age lycanthro fans. Thank you very much for your continued support. Until we game again.